Yeah. Yo. Cruising through the neon fog, the SB1200 crunching loud, navigating shadows far away from the commercial crowd. The tape saturation hisses bleeding through the baseline track, moving on pure instinct, and there ain't no way you're heading back. Dusty vinyl remnants spinning slowly on the Technics plate, calculating bars inside the highly smoked out mental state. Underground philosophy, the funk sample is chopped up fine, independent entity preserving the perimeter line. We don't chase the radio, we don't adjust the frequency, living in the matrix but we operating secretly. Loose hi-hats swinging with the natural and organic flow, watching how the local counterfeits perform their little puppet show. The atmosphere is heavy duty, psychedelic purple hue. We establishing the metrics that the golden era always knew. No plastic templates allowed inside the laboratory space, vaporizing every single line of your presentation face. I breathe the analog texture in, let the loop record, sovereign independent master of the independent chord. They checking for the algorithms, looking for a viral trend, while I am watching all the fragile cardboard structures bend. The minor key melody is looping like a paradigm, an absolute classic capture of the unrecorded time. I don't need the validation, don't need the synthetic praise, carving out an empire directly through the smoky haze. The snare is hitting sharp, the kick drum is a heavyweight, anchoring my consciousness to a permanent creative state. 32 bars of raw, unadulterated street design, locking down the coordinates of the absolute baseline line. Haze, the SB1200 crunches in the air, navigating through the fog to a beautiful nowhere. No trap drums, no pop chains to hold the mass, just the gritty texture of the underground glass. The groove is hot, the system is secure, keeping the momentum unapologetically pure. The warm bass is dropping down, following the root note scale. The clinical delivery where the synthetic rappers fail. Filtered sample chops are stuttering inside the dusty mix, refusing to be blinded by the cheap promotional tricks. I see the industry decay, see the culture turning cold, selling out the marrow for a temporary pot of gold. But my canvas is titanium, the chassis cannot warp or split, trapped inside the center of an unbreakable vintage kit. We don't do the melodic hooks, don't do the R&B chords, just the raw execution of the lyrical double-edged swords. The hi-hats have got that natural swing, that mid-90s bounce, weighing out the value of the talent by that literal ounce. I walk through the city grid, a ghost in the machine frame, entirely detached from their superficial validation game. The tape is saturation peaking, running in the red of night, operating the production machinery in the midnight light. They want a commercial single, want a radio-friendly layout, but I am documenting the ultimate independent pathway out. So let the vinyl crackle run, let the needle jump the groove. I got absolutely nothing left to validate or prove. The arrangement is sparse, the arrangement is hard, rebar steel, completely indifferent to how the plastic look and feel. We locking in the master mix, raw and unpolished grit, the ultimate manifestation of a timeless underground hit. Haze, the SB1200 crunches in the air, navigating through the fog to a beautiful nowhere. No trap drums, no pop things to hold the mass, just the gritty texture of the underground glass. The groove is knotted, the system is secure, keeping the momentum unapologetically pure. The final escalation of the psychedelic funk loop chop, the steady acceleration that the matrix cannot stop. I clench the fist tightly, let the SB1200 ring out loud, standing as a monolith above the uninspired crowd. No modern sense allowed, no glossy digital veneer, just the cold reality of the rhymes you secretly fear. The baseline is secure, the perimeter is airtight secure. The independent legacy will permanently safely endure. So stack the reels high, let the tape machine roll dry, dominating every single coordinate underneath the wide sky. Haze, the SB1200 crunches in the air, navigating through the fog to a beautiful nowhere. No trap drums, no pop chains to hold the mass, just the gritty texture of the underground glass. The groove is knotted, the system is secure, keeping the momentum unapologetically pure. Cruising through the neon fog, the SP 1200 crunching loud, navigating shadows far away from the commercial crowd. The tape saturation hisses bleeding through the baseline track, moving on pure instinct, and there ain't no way you're heading back. Dusty vinyl remnants spinning slowly on the Technics plate, calculating bars inside a highly smoked out mental state. Underground philosophy, the funk sample is chopped up fine, independent entity preserving the perimeter line. We don't chase the radio, we don't adjust the frequency, living in the matrix, but we operating secretly. Loose hi-hat swinging with a natural and organic flow, watching how the local counterfeits perform that little puppet show. The atmosphere is heavy duty, psychedelic purple hue. We establishing the metrics that the golden era always knew. No plastic templates allowed inside the laboratory space, vaporizing every single line of your presentation face. I breathe the analog texture in, let the loop wreck it. Sovereign independent master of the independent core. They checking for the algorithms, looking for a viral trend, while I am watching all their fragile cardboard structures bend. The minor key melody is looping like a paradigm, an absolute classic capture of the unrecorded time. I don't need the validation, don't need the synthetic praise, carving out an empire directly through the smoky haze. The snare is hitting sharp, the kick drum is a heavyweight, anchoring my consciousness to a permanent creative state. 32 bars of raw, unadulterated street design, locking down the coordinates of the absolute baseline line. I load the analog weapon, let the track is stripped down clean. The ultimate technician operating the survival machine. No compromises offered to the lookers in the room today, watching the remaining traces of that network slide away. The layout is authentic, the layout is refinery hard. The supreme commander of the independent studio guard. The SP12 run that crunches in the air, navigating through the fog to a beautiful nowhere. No trap drums, no pop chains to hold the mass, just the gritty texture of the underground glass. The groove is hypnotic, the system is secure. Keeping the momentum unapologetically pure. Yo, the warm bass is dropping down, following the root note scale. A clinical delivery, whether synthetic rappers fail. Filtered sample chops are stuttering inside the dusty mix, refusing to be blinded by their cheap promotional tricks. I see the industry decay, see the culture turning cold, selling out the marble for a temporary pot of gold. But my canvas is titanium, the chassis cannot warp or split, trapped inside the center of an unbreakable vintage kit. We don't do the melodic hooks, don't do the R&B chords, just the raw execution of the lyrical double-edged swords. The hi-hats have got that natural swing, that mid-90s bounce, weighing out the value of the talent by the literal ounce. I walk through the city grid, a ghost in the machine frame, entirely detached from they superficial validation game. The tape is saturation peaking, running in the red of night, operating the production machinery in the midnight light. They want a commercial single, want a radio-friendly layout, but I am documenting the ultimate independent pathway out. So let the vinyl crackle run, let the needle jump and groove. I got absolutely nothing left to validate or prove. The arrangement is sparse, the arrangement is hard, rebar steel, completely indifferent to how the plastic lookers feel. We locking in the master mix, raw and unpolished grit, the ultimate manifestation of a timeless underground hit. The frequency is muddy, but the point is hitting sharp and clear, exposing all the variables that the copycats secretly fear. I don't invite the features over, don't allow the network block, just running down the remaining seconds of the studio clock. The ink is drying slow across the yellow notepad sheet, dumping the maximum density of my presence right on the beat. The SP12 on that crunches in the air, navigating through the fog to a beautiful nowhere. No trap drums, no pop chains to hold the mass, just the gritty texture of the underground glass. The groove is sonic, the system is secure. Keeping the momentum unapologetically pure. The final escalation of the psychedelic funk loop chop, the steady acceleration that the matrix cannot stop. I clench the fist tightly, let the SP12 fund it ring out loud, standing as a monolith above the uninspired crowd. No modern sins allowed, no glossy digital veneer, just the cold reality of the rhymes you secretly.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119 Nation.
Yeah, dropping the low pass filter directly straight onto the master track layout. The absolute documentation of an independent, unvarnished pathway line out. I look at the vinyl dust settling heavily on the metal faded decks, calculating the precise execution of the syllables across their corporate necks. The sample is minimal, an eerie minor key soul loop spinning cold, refusing to dilute the structural integrity of the message for the goal. Thick punching kick drum knocking hard in the center of the stereo field, using the raw analog compression as an unbreakable defensive body shield. No trap hi-hat stuttering, no artificial cinematic soundtrack hype, just the authentic presentation of the mid-90s. Underground type, I navigate the alleyways of the city grid underneath the midnight sky, staring at the commercial simulation with a completely detached eye. They checking the algorithmic data, tracking the digital footprints clear, while I am operating flawlessly inside the shadow parameters right here. The mix is bone dry, no glossy reverb to cushion the blunt force impact blow. Watching how the fraudulent lookers perform their little theater puppet show. Multi-syllabic street logic, structuring the blueprint perfectly tight. Operating the production machinery deep inside the freezing winter night. The bass line is simple, following the root notes of the concrete floor. The definitive finality of a soldier engaged in the real independent war. You thought you had a mechanism to intercept the velocity of my stride, until the gritty texture of the sampler forced your defenses to divide. I don't offer the commercial hooks, don't allow the pop radio scheme, just the absolute cold-blooded manifestation of a lyrical machine. No orchestras foreign permitted, no modern synths, fake digital veneer, just the cold hard reality of the exact rhymes that the critics secretly fear. 32 bars of unadulterated underground hip-hop design layout, locking down the coordinates of the absolute master execution route. On track, the narrow stereo image is active and raw, enforcing the absolute reality of the underground law. No glossy reverb, no hooks to soften the impact track, just the gritty alloy that the matrix can never like. But the repetition is hypnotic, the system is permanently cold. The hardest survival blueprint that was explicitly told. The analog compression is tight, squeezing the oxygen out of the room. The systematic deceleration of your corporate enterprise development doom. I patch the cables manually into the back of the vintage sampler bay, wiping the remaining traces of your industry assumptions completely away. The snare is crisp like a winter morning, cracking directly on the 2 and 4, stamping out the final remnants of the imitation copycats on the floor. Sparse instrumentation, just a dirty loop and the driving bassline pulse, immune to the artificial validation that the shallow crowd results. They talking about budgets, talking about the major label streaming placement, while I am fortifying the infrastructure deep inside the concrete basement. I don't buy the luxury garments, don't mingle at the expensive local bar, because the baseline maintenance of my identity is taking the focus far. The eyes are wide open, tracking the landscape with a sharp clinical gaze, navigating the parameters of the matrix directly through the heavy smoke haze. No R&B chords allowed inside the laboratory sanctuary workspace square, leaving your entire fragile network completely exposed, hollow and bare. And every single calorie spent on your gossip was a direct theft from the crown, watching the cardboard empires of the slackers officially tumble straight down. I am the independent engineer of this massive reconstruction grid layout, dismantling the final lines of the industry security backup doubt. The alignment is clinical, the layout is solid rebar reinforced steel, completely indifferent to how the panic in competitive circles might feel. We keeping the mix and the pan, keeping the stereo field narrow and tight, dominating the entire geographical coordinate spot in the middle of the night. The ink is dry and slow across the pages of the yellow legal notepad sheet, dumping the maximum density of my talent right on the raw boom bap beat. On track, mono stereo images active and raw. Enforcing the absolute.
Tearing straight through the marrow, exposing the bone, architecture clean. The absolute dominance of an unyielding underground manufacturing machine. The breakbeat is dusty, carrying the weight of the raw street cipher block. Running down the final remaining minutes of your commercial. Validation clock. I don't play the pop melodies, don't use the glossy production tools inside. Graduated cleanly from the absolute hardest schools where the real warriors reside. The snare is cracking like a leather whip inside the crowded arena layout square, leaving your entire fragile network system completely exposed, hollow and bare. Parts and piano fragments looping endlessly inside the repository of the dark mind. An absolute liquidation of the counterfeit version of me you left far behind. No trap percussion allowed here, no EDM synths active inside this fortified space. Just the raw compression slapping the absolute truth directly across your face. Check the specifications of your highly hypocritical corporate marketing stance, refusing to give the variables of the internet gossip a single microscopic chance. The analog saturation is warm, driving the hardware meter straight to the red peak. The overall outlook for your independent survival is looking incredibly thin and weak. I walk into the circle grid, passing the heavy steel microphone grip hard and fast. The supreme commander establishing absolute control that is built to safely outlast. They want the smooth R&B chords, want the radio-friendly presentation layout design, while I am sharpening the edge of the absolute independent baseline. Perimeter line. No cinematic soundtrack element permitted to soften the sudden drop of the frame. A permanent unlinking of my entire operational system from the validation game. I load the 90 sample of sound, letting the raw unpolished textures heavily collide. Sovereign independent operator commanding the entire grid from the internal inside. 32 bars of high density of varnished lyrical assault weight on the sheet, locking the undivided victory deep inside the master bank of the concrete street. The dust is rising off the speakers, filling up the laboratory workspace room. The systematic execution and acceleration of your commercial enterprise doom. I don't offer the concessions, don't follow the blueprints that the industry made. Carving my own destiny out with the sharp edge of an unyielding razor blade. The alignment is locked tight, the tracking is perfectly secure across the board. The ultimate manifestation of a soldier holding the double-edged lyrical sword. Word, the breakbeat is hitting the layer floor. The definitive conclusion of the underground cyber war. Glossy production of harmony sung in the track. Just a gritty texture blocking every route from head and back. Arrangement is strict, the compassion is refinery tight. Dominating the entire geographical spot. In the middle of night, the gritty bass groove is pulsing, driving the forward mechanical momentum flow. Completely indifferent to where the temporary commercial streaming currents go. I don't look back at the sideline lookers, don't care about the spectating crowd. The velocity of my independent expansion is screaming incredibly powerful and loud. Every single stone you threw at my fortress is sitting hard inside my stone vault, and the complete collapse of your infrastructure is exclusively your own layout fault. I patch the audio cables manually, keeping the authentic sampler hardware alive, forcing the raw, unadulterated energy of the culture to permanently, safely revive. He's being too aggressive, he's breaking the industry standard operational rules, while I am educating the collective demographic from the architecture of their schools. No safety margins permitted for the ghost of my historical comfortable past lane. The masonry I am building today is designed to withstand the impact of the rain. I see the counterfeit profiles trying to replicate the natural vintage machine swing, failing to comprehend the actual magnitude of the raw multi-syllabic The crushing force is completely whole.
Clicking on the copper wire static on the listening post layout design. Detecting an unauthorized interception, trying to reach the baseline line of mine. I see the modifications on the server, see the digital footprint signature trace. Realizing the circle's closest to my circle, trying to occupy my independent space. They wanna copy the blueprint, wanna duplicate the manufacturing machine keys. Monitoring my incoming data streams, looking for a single vulnerability squeeze. But I check the telemetry, tracking the location of the hidden parasitic microphone. Operating with extreme hypervigilance inside the parameters of the studio alone. I don't launch a direct confrontation, don't throw a public theatrical tantrum fit. I just feed the surveillance false coordinates and watch them heavily swallow it. Multi-syllabic misdirection, broadcasting a completely customized ghost trail. Leading the competitive lookers directly down a pathway built to absolutely fail. The snare is hitting center pan, cracking sharp like a pistol in the dark alley square. Leaving your entire IDET network completely exposed, hollow and bare. No trap hi-hat stuttering here, no artificial cinematic orchestration hype. Just the authentic presentation of the greedy mid-90s underground hip-hop type. I low past the frequency, let the simple bass line cross slow through the dirt floor. The definitive finality of a master strategist engaged in the silent communication war. You thought you were slick with the tap, thought you were skimming the premium asset gold, until you ran face first into the coldest administrative lockdown ever explicitly told. I altered the frequency spectrum, shifting the encryption codes over to the black grid, shredding the historical tracking files of every single thing we ever cooperatively did. The analog compression is tight, squeezing the remaining oxygen straight out of the room. The systematic acceleration of your fraudulent surveillance operation development doom. I sit at the mixing console, watching the fake targets on your radar screen light up bright. Operating the independent misinformation machinery deep inside the middle of midnight night. The vinyl dust is settling heavily across the fader deck like a gray ash sheet, dumping the maximum density of my tactical deception directly right on the raw boom bap beat.
Tap the line, feed the ghost. Tap the line, feed the ghost. Tap the line, feed the ghost. Tap the line.
The informational grid has officially flatlined to zero. But the wiretap paranoia is running hot, isolating the entire platform on the coordinate spot. No modern and no lights to show where I went, just a gritty texture where the entire audio was spent.
The repetition isn't added, the system is factory clean.
The unstoppable velocity of the upper grade machine. The surveillance unit is reporting a massive surge in the simulated currency vault, failing to realize the entire information loop layout is exclusively their own fault. They chasing the digital mirage, spending their resources, tracking the non-existent line, while I am quietly executing the vertical integration of the absolute perimeter design. I purchase the raw materials in silence, securing the logistics pipeline, shipping docks, locking down the independent monopoly behind a series of heavy-duty titanium locks. No gold parachutes available for the parasites trying to intercept the workflow stream, dismantling the final remaining structures of your uninspired copycat commercial dream. The routine is a mechanical march, a relentless heavy metronome boom bap beat, stamping out the visibility of my coordinates right on the concrete city street. I don't buy the luxury garments, don't me. The clicking on the copper wire, the clicking on the copper wire. Clicking on the
About the sun.
Hit the kill the light. Hit the kill the light.
Blotting out the artificial shine, executing a total solar eclipse design, permanently blocking out the radar lines of your commercial baseline line of mine. I watch the shadow descend across the landscape, cooling the entire terrain down as my independent infrastructure consumes the coordinates of your local town. The SP12 hindered is crunching the frequency, saturating the master tape real track, moving with an unstoppable rhythmic velocity, and there ain't no way you're heading back. Dusty psychedelic soul loop spinning slowly on the dual techniques plat the deck. A clinical multi-syllabic forensic evaluation happening directly across your neck. They trying to manufacture a temporary glow, trying to spark a
Synthetic light.
until my dark alignment passes straight through the middle of their absolute night. No plastic templates permitted inside the laboratory sanctuary recording room. The systematic deceleration and final liquidation of your corporate development doom. Loose hi-hat swinging with a natural organic mid-90s vintage hip-hop bounce, weighing out the absolute value of the independent talent by the literal ounce. I don't look back at the historical district, don't check the rear view glass pane. Completely insulated from the velocity of your recursive psychological pain. The warm bass is dropping heavy, following the root notes of the concrete floor. The definitive conclusion of a sovereign commander engaged in the real street war. You thought you could stand in the sun forever, thought your metrics were airtight, secure, until the shadow of my independent legacy arrives to ensure the marrow stays pure. I block the visibility data, mute the notifications on the duplicate track and screen, operating flawlessly like a cold-blooded clinical industrial survival machine. The arrangement is sparse, the arrangement is solid rebar, reinforced hard steel, completely indifferent to how the panic and competitive boardroom circles feel. We locking down the coordinates on the geographical spot before the morning bell ring, establishing the permanent parameters where the independent operator remains king. 32 bars of unadulterated, unpolished, raw underground hip-hop structure layout, dismantling the final remaining lines of your industry security backup doubt.
Block the sun, kill the light. Block the sun, kill the light. Block the sun, kill the light. The superficial shine has officially flatlined to zero.
Eclipse the SP1200 loops, raw refinery tight.
Plug in the entire ecosystem directly into night.
No trap drums, no pop gloss to reinforce the shine.
Just the gritty texture of the absolute baseline perimeter line.
The groove is naughty, the system is secure,
Keeping the underground momentum unapologetically pure.
the temperature is dropping rapidly as the darkness solidifies across the grid. Erasing the structural tracking records of every single move the copycats did. I patched the audio cables manually into the back of the analog mixer board panel, squeezing the remaining oxygen out of your commercial distribution channel. The snare is hitting sharp on the 2 and 4, a dry, crunchy center pan crack, stamping out the visibility of your presentation face on the destination track. No modern synthesizers allowed inside the perimeter, no digital veneer slick design. Sovereign independent master of the absolute unvarnished baseline, perimeter design of mind. They talking about market recovery, talking about the visibility index climbing high, while the shadow of my organization is stretching across the entire width of the sky. I don't buy the luxury labels, don't mingle at the expensive corporate approved bar, because the baseline maintenance of my security is taking the focus incredibly far. The tape is saturation peaking, running hot in the overdriven red zone tonight, reviving the master ledger files under the illumination of the midnight light. You wanted a cooperative partner clone, wanted a submissive green screen display, until the heavy velocity of my transformation forced your alliances to slide away. The infrastructure is massive, the infrastructure is built on the unyielding stone rebar, tracking the progressive acceleration of how my identity is traveling incredibly far. I don't offer the radio-friendly hooks, don't allow the R&B singing routine stream, just the absolute cold-blooded execution of an independent machine dream.
Every single calorie spent on your sabotage backfired heavy.
Rip the crack like the gate, like the gate, like the gate, like the gate, like the gate.
Black box. Black box.
Rip the crack like the gate. Locking the unyielding data down inside the indestructible black box container. Analyzing the absolute wreckage like a cold-blooded strategic system trainer. The breakbeat is dusty, carrying the raw, unvarnished street cipher energy weight. Recording the catastrophic terminal failure of your commercial media state. I don't play the pop melodies, don't follow the glossy high-budget production track. I'm collecting the flight telemetry records and there ain't no route ahead and back. Haunting piano fragments looping endlessly across the repository grid layout. The definitive masterful execution of my personal independent pathway line out. The snare is cracking sharp like a splitting timber beam inside the center room. The systematic documentation and final liquidation of your enterprise doom. No track percussion allowed inside the parameters. New digital synthwave veneer slick. Just the raw compression hitting hard in sync with the authentic sampler click. I check the structural specifications of your highly hypocritical network line. Failing to locate a single coordinate where your corporate values design is fine. And the analog saturation is warm, pushing the hardware boom meter straight to the peak red. While the remaining influence of your presentation face is completely, rightfully dead. I walk straight into the cipher circle, clenching the heavy steel microphone grip. Watching the entire superficial confidence of your organization starting to slip. They want the smooth R&B chords, want the radio-friendly mainstream distribution design. While I am sharpening the edge of the absolute perimeter baseline grid of mine. No cinematic soundtrack elements permitted to cushion the impact drop of the frame. A total permanent liquidation of my consciousness from the validation game. I load the 90 sampler engine, letting the raw unpolished vinyl textures heavily collide. Sovereign independent operator, commanding the architecture from the internal inside. 32 bars of high density, unadulterated lyrical assault weight on the paper sheet. Locking the undivided victory deep inside the vault bank of the concrete street. The dust is rising off the turntable mats, filling up the laboratory workspace space, vaporizing the final remnants of your fraudulent and submissive presentation face. I don't offer the concession, don't ask for permission from the lookers in the crowd. The volume of this independent movement is screaming incredibly powerful and loud. The alignment is locked tight, the tracking is perfectly secure across the entire board. The ultimate manifestation of a lone soldier holding the double-edged lyrical sword.
Record the crash, lock the gate. Record the crash, lock the gate. Record the crash, lock the gate. The artificial ecosystem has officially collapsed down to zero.
Black box, black box, black box.
The data sectors are airtight, secure, keeping the raw marrow of the inside completely pure. No glossy mastering, no pop change to reinforce the shine. Just the gritty texture of the absolute baseline, perimeter lined. The arrangement is stripped, the compression is refinery tight, dominating the entire geographical coordinate spot in the
The
night.
gritty bass groove is pulsing, driving the forward mechanical momentum flow. Completely indifferent to where the temporary commercial streaming metrics go. I don't look back at the sideline lookers, don't care about the spectating crowd. The velocity of my independent expansion is screaming incredibly powerful and loud. Every single stone you threw at my fortress is sitting hard inside my stone vault. And the complete collapse of your infrastructure is exclusively your own layout fault. I patch the audio cables manually, keeping the authentic sampler hardware alive, forcing the raw, unadulterated energy of the culture to permanently, safely revive.
He's being too aggressive. He's breaking the industry standard operational rules. while I am educating the collective demographic from the architecture of their schools. No safety margins permitted for the ghost of my historical comfortable past lane. The masonry I am building today is designed to withstand the impact of the rain.
Black box. Black box. Black box. River the crash like the gate. Rip. The words closed out. Words come. Yeah. Scanning the perimeter, detecting the presence of the corporate clone design layout. Isolating the unoriginal entities, trying to navigate my personal pathway line out. The SP1200 circuitry is overdriven, crunching down the bit rate resolution tight. Forging an absolute independent lyrical infrastructure in the center of the night. They trying to replicate the cadence, trying to counterfeit the authentic in that log swing. Failing to comprehend the actual magnitude of the raw multi-syllabic bars I bring. Dusty psychedelic soul loop spinning slowly on the target techniques, platter deck. A clinical forensic liquidation happening directly across your presentation net. No plastic formulas permitted inside the sanctuary of the laboratory workstation space. Vaporizing the final remaining attributes of your submissive commercial face. Loose hi-hat sliding with the natural organic swing signature pocket groove flow. Watching how the uninspired replicants perform their highly predictable puppet show. The tape saturation is running hot in the overriven red zone on the reels tonight. Reviving the master operational ledger under the illumination of the midnight light. I don't look back at the historical district, don't check the rear view glass pane. Completely insulated from the velocity of your recursive psychological matrix pain. The warm bass is dropping heavy, following the root notes of the concrete studio floor. The definitive finality of a sovereign commander engaged in a real independent war. You thought you could manufacture the marrow, thought your metrics were airtight secure, until the shadow of my independent legacy arrived to ensure the platform stays pure. I block the visibility tracking codes, mute the notifications on the display screen. Operating flawlessly like a cold-blooded clinical industrial survival machine. The arrangement is sparse, the arrangement is solid rebar, reinforced hard steel. Completely indifferent to how the panic in competitive boardroom circles feel. We locking down the coordinates on the geographical spot before the morning bell ring. Establishing the permanent parameters where the independent operator remains king. 32 bars of unadulterated, unpolished, raw underground hip-hop structure sheet. Dumping the maximum density of my talent rate on the center of the boom bap beat. The dust is rising off the vintage monitors, filling up the workspace room. The systematic deceleration and final destruction of your corporate enterprise doom. I don't offer the concessions, don't follow the blueprints that the industry made. Carving my own destiny out with the sharp edge of an unyielding razor blade.
Purge the clone, expose the fake. Purge the clone, expose the fake.
The artificial frequency
Has officially flatlined
to zero. Replicate.
The SP1200 drums are hitting deep, marching every single counterfeit operator weak. No trap drums, no glossy synths to coat the sound, just the gritty texture of the genuine underground. The groove is denied, the platform is factory clean. The unstoppable velocity of the upgrade machine.
The warm root no baseline is crawling steady beneath the filtered sample chop loop. The systematic disintegration of your uninspired collaborative boardroom group. I patch the audio connections manually into the back of the analog mixer board, taking total undivided possession of the double-edged executioner sword.
The snare is a dry, crunchy snaps, and the pan to dominate the listening field. Using the raw, unpolished compression as an unbreakable defensive body shield. No modern digital plugins allowed inside the pyramid, and no synthwave veneer slick design. Siren independent master of the absolute unvarnished baseline grid of mine. They posting on the internet network about they fake streams and visibility score, while the weight of my masonry is crushing their foundation down to the floor. I don't engage in the small talk, don't mingle at the expensive local industry bar, because the baseline maintenance of my security is taking the focus incredibly far. The ink is drying slow across the white pages of the legal.
Yeah. Hit the switch. Drop the frame. Hit the switch. Drop the frame. Cruising down the boulevard, scraping the chassis flat across the concrete line. An absolute mastery of the 92 BPM West Coast vintage underground design. The deep warm bass is vibrating the melody bar framework of the floor, as we execute a flawless tactical navigation through the neighborhood war. I hit the hydraulic switches, watching the front end bounce and elevate high. Underneath the thick toxic haze of the smoke curling up into the midnight sky. Dusty funk samples chopped cleanly on the internal sampler memory board, taking total undivided possession of the classic independent street chord. We don't follow the speed limit set by the corporate commercial traffic grid, erasing the registration that attracts of every single layout move we ever did. Loose hi-hat swinging with that raw, unfiltered organic 90s analog velocity, dumping maximum density, multi-syllabic rhythms with absolute ferocity. The SP1200 is crunching the bit rate, saturating the master tape real clean. The hardest manifestation of a low-slung, heavy-duty mogul street machine. They tryna track the license plate, tryna pinpoint the geographic spot, while I am localizing the entire audio monopoly on this specific coordinate slide. No plastic pop templates permitted inside the laboratory customization bay, wiping the remaining traces of your submissive mainstream assumptions completely away. The minor key melody is looping like a clockwork, gears inside the system head, a beautiful monument of bass frequency where the historical competition bled. I lean back in the customized velvet seat, clutching the chrome steering wheel hard. The supreme commander of the lowrider unit patrolling the perimeter guard. They checking the algorithmic analytics, chasing the latest superficial internet trend, while I am watching the steel columns of their fragile industry towers bend. I don't need the validation shortcuts, don't ask for a corporate approved clearance pass. Just rolling slow through the neon fog with the dark tint covering the window glass. 32 bars of unadulterated, unvarnished, raw underground West Coast design, locking down the performance parameters of the absolute baseline. Perimeter line. Hit the switch, drop the frame. Hit the switch, drop the frame. The standard clearance level has officially flatlined to zero. Hydraulic, the chassis is hitting the street. The absolute finality of the underground beat. No trap drums, no glossies running in the track. Just the rolling bass line blocking every route back. The groove is mighty, the suspension is hard. Commanding the boulevard, securely on guard. The amplifier is pulling maximum voltage directly straight from the backup line, systematically processing the heavy resonance of the structural audio design. The tires are tucked deep inside the customized reinforced steel fender well,
The definitive finality of a story that the mainstream networks can never tell. We rolled 3 vehicles deep, an independent convoy crossing the district block. Running down the final remaining minutes of your theatrical validation clock. Sparks, just a dirty bass loop in the dry, crunchy snare, snap, crack. Stamping out the visibility of your presentation face on the concrete track. No R&B chords allowed inside the sanctuary of this mobile workspace enclosure, leaving your entire fragile network system completely vulnerable to exposure. They talking about market stabilization, talking about the corporate index rise, while the smoke from our exhaust pipes is blinding their professional boardroom eyes. I patch the audio frequencies manually, maintaining the natural mid-90s tape hits, refusing to let the infrastructure succumb to the digital formatting abyss. He's driving too slow, he's disrupting the the switch.
Broadcasting the untraceable frequency directly straight out from the concrete subfloor grid, permanently overwriting the public directory files of every single layout move I did. I locked the transmission dials onto the absolute dark underground sector domain, converting the raw atmospheric pressure of the environment into a rhythmic campaign. The analog sampler is chewing the bit rate, low passing the eerie minor key soul loop. Systematically dismantling the structural integrity of your collaborative corporate group. No modern synth bells or whistles allowed inside this narrow stereo field. Using the dry, unpolished mixed compression as an unbreakable defensive body shield. The snare is cracking sharp like a splitting timber post on the 2 and 4 counts. Stamping out the visibility of your presentation face in highly concentrated amounts. Multi-syllabic engineering drafting the blueprint of the untouchable urban ghost lane. Completely insulated from the velocity of your recursive psychological matrix pain. They checking the broadcast towers trying to pinpoint the geographic coordinate source. Failing to locate a single microscopic trace of my independent tactical expansion force. You thought you had a handle on my timeline, thought you were monitoring the vault key, until you ran face first into the absolute fortification of the upgrade machine memory. I run the black lines through the shadow pipeline conduits underneath the city street, dumping the maximum density of my independent talent right on the boom bap beat. No trap hi-hat stuttering here, no artificial cinematic orchestration hype score. Just the raw definition of a sovereign operator engaged in a real communication war. The vinyl dust is settling heavily across the metal faded decks like a cold gray ash sheet, locking down the performance parameters of the absolute master execution route complete. I don't offer the commercial hooks, don't allow the pop radio mainstream formatting scheme. Just the absolute cold-blooded manifestation of a standalone industrial machine dream. Every single calorie spent on your espionage backfired heavily on your own crown. Watching the cardboard networks of the lookers officially tumble straight down. I am the independent engineer of this massive defensive execution layout block, running down the final remaining seconds of the studio master processing clock. The ink is drying slow across the white pages of the yellow legal notepad sheet, establishing a permanent independent boundary line that you can never defeat.
Cut the lines in the code. Cut the lines in the code. Cut the lines in the code.
The traditional communication
Has officially flatlined to zero. Signal. The transmission is burning in the black, blocking every counterattack on the system track.
no glossy reverb,
No lights to show the source design.
just the gritty texture
Of the perimeter baseline line. unit is tracking the dummy frequency down to the low floor. Failing to comprehend the actual operational scale of my independent underground war. They chasing a digital mirage loop, analyzing the waveform of an empty static frame, while I am quietly executing the vertical integration of the validation name. I purchased the raw manufacturing materials in silence, securing the distribution docks, locking down the undivided asset value behind a series of heavy titanium locks. No golden parachutes permitted inside the laboratory repository of rectory files, wiping the remaining traces of your manipulative and submissive professional smiles. The routine is a mechanical march, a relentless heavy metronome, boom, bap swing, establishing the permanent parameters where the sovereign independent operator remains king. I check the specifications of your highly hypocritical network interface layout screen, muting the notifications to maintain the sanctuary of the survival machine scene. He's being too reclusive, he's cutting off the accessibility of the historical team, while the reality mirror is slapping the truth directly across your uninspired dream. I don't rock for the explanations, don't play the cooperative public performance show. The hard reset work perfectly, letting the leverage of the independent operation grow. The configuration is permanent, the columns are so.
Watching the structural hairline fractions expand across their entire system screen. The definitive evidence of a highly corrupted, failing mainstream machine. The break Betty's dusty, carrying the raw Ravon its way to the street block, running down the final remaining minutes of your corporate validation clock. I don't play the pop melodies, don't follow the glossy high budget production track. I'm dropping the heavy iron hammer down, and there ain't no rider heading back. Haunting piano fragments looping endlessly across the repository grid layout. The definitive masterful execution of my personal independent pathway line out. These snares cracking sharp like a splitting timber beam inside the center room. The systematic documentation and final liquidation of your enterprise doom. No trap percussion allowed inside the parameters, no digital soap like veneer slick. Just a raw compression hitting hard in sync with the authentic sample click. I check the structural specifications of your highly hypocritical network line, failing to locate a single coordinate where your corporate valid design is fine. The analog saturation is born, pushing the hardware view meter straight to the peak red, while the remaining influence of your presentation face is completely, rightfully dead. I walk straight into the cipher circle, clenching the heavy steel microphone grip, watching the entire superficial confidence of your organization starting to slip. They want the smooth R&B chords, want the radio-friendly mainstream distribution design, while I'm sharpening the edge of the absolute perimeter baseline grid of mine. No cinematic soundtrack elements permitted to cushion the impact drop of the frame. A total permanent liquidation of my consciousness from the validation game. I load the 90s sampler engine, letting the raw polished vinyl textures heavily collide. Sovereign independent operator commanding the architecture from the internal inside. 32 bars of high density, unadulterated lyrical soul weight on a paper sheet, locking the undivided victory deep inside the vault bank of the concrete street. The dust is rising off the turntable mats, filling up the laboratory workspace space, vaporizing the final remnants of your fraudulent and submissive presentation face. I don't offer the concessions, don't ask for permission from the lookers in the crowd. The volume of this independent movement is screaming incredibly powerful and loud. The alignment is locked tight, the tracking is perfectly secure across the entire board. The ultimate manifestation of a lone soldier holding the double-edged lyrical sword.
Break the glass, watch it drop. Break the glass.
is pulsing, driving the forward mechanical momentum flow. Completely indifferent to where the temporary, the commercial streaming metrics go. I don't look back at the sideline, lookers don't care about the spectating crowd. The velocity of my independent expansion is screaming incredibly powerful aloud. Every single stone you threw at my fortress is sitting hard inside my stone vault. And the complete collapse of your infrastructure is exclusively your own layout fault. I pass the audio cables manually keeping the authentic sampler hardware alive, forcing the raw, unadulterated energy of the culture to permanently, safely revive. He's being too aggressive, he's breaking the industry standard operational rules, while I'm educating the collective demographic from the architecture of the schools. No safety margins permitted for the ghost of my historical comfortable past lane. The masonry I am building today is designed to withstand the impact of the rain. I see the counterfeit profiles trying to replicate the natural vintage machine swing, failing to comprehend the actual magnitude of the raw multi-syllabate bars I bring.
Digital fragments are easy, scratching roughly against the recording.
Wait, watch it drop.
Break the glass, watch it drop.
Wait, watch it drop.
Watching the acid eat the infrastructure, letting the entire system rust away. The definitive chemical decomposition of the cardboard matrix today. The analog sampler is grinding the bit rate, low passing the eerie loop tight. Operating the mechanical switches in the dead center of the freezing night. No modern synth bells or whistles allowed inside this narrow stereo field. Using the dry, unpolished mixed compression as an unbreakable body armor shield. The snare is cracking sharp on the 2 and 4, a dusty cinder pane crack. Stamping out the visibility of your presentation face on the destination track. Multi-syllabic engineering, drafting the blueprint of the untouchable ghost lane. Completely insulated from the velocity of your recursive psychological matrix pain. They checking the structural columns, trying to calculate the degradation rate. Failing to locate a single patch of stability inside your failing corporate state. You thought the facade would stand forever, thought your vanity was airtight, secure, until the creeping corrosion of reality arrived to ensure only the raw marrow stays pure. Run the dark lines through the shadow pipeline, conduits underneath the street. Dumping the maximum density of my independent talent right on the boom bap beat. No trap hi-hat stuttering here, no artificial cinematic orchestration. Hype score, just the raw definition of a sovereign operator engaged in the real communication war. The vinyl dust is settling heavily across the metal fader decks like a cold ass sheet, locking down the performance parameters of the absolute master execution route complete. I don't offer the commercial hooks, don't allow the pop radio mainstream formatting scheme. Just the absolute cold-blooded manifestation of a standalone industrial machine dream. Every single calorie spent on your corporate espionage backfired heavily on your own crown. Watching the cardboard networks of the slackers officially tumble straight down. I am the independent engineer of this massive defensive execution layout block, running down the final remaining seconds of the studio master processing clock. The ink is drying slow across the white pages of the yellow legal notepad sheet, establishing a permanent independent boundary line that your system can never defeat. The rust is forming on your gates, eating through the lock mechanisms on your door. The final structural collapse happening all across your boardroom workspace floor. I look at the flakes of paint peeling off your theatrical institutional wall space, wiping the remaining lines of credit directly from your panicking presentation face.
Watch it roll,
Let it fall.
watch it roll.
Let it fall.
The artificial framework has officially flatlined to zero. Corrosion, the acid is eating the framework clean. The systemic deconstruction of the false machine. No glossy reverse, no lights to show where the force design bled, just a gritty texture. Break the weakness is officially dead.
The repetition is hypnotic, the episode is permanently cold. The hardest survival configuration that was explicitly told. The corporate monitoring unit is tracking the dummy frequency down to the low floor. Failing to comprehend the actual operational scale of my independent underground war. They chasing the digital mirage loop, analyzing the waveform of an empty static frame, while I am quietly executing the vertical integration of the validation name. I purchased the raw manufacturing materials in silence, securing the distribution dots, locking down the undivided asset value behind a series of heavy titanium locks. No golden parachutes permitted inside the laboratory repository directory files, wiping the remaining traces of your manipulative and submissive professional smiles. The routine is a mechanical march, a relentless heavy metronome boom bap swing, establishing the permanent parameters where the sovereign independent operator remains king. I check the specifications of your highly hypocritical network interface layout screen, muting the notifications to maintain the sanctuary of the survival machine scene. He's being too reclusive. He's cutting off the accessibility of the historical team, while the reality mirror is slapping the truth directly across your uninspired dream. I don't offer the explanations, don't play the cooperative public performance.